Yes, it's me. It's the MIC Craig, aka Mr. Impact. I'm joined, of course, by Nixon, and this is Talking Bloody Nonsense here on the TNAIW channel. We are back after a little bit of technical difficulties on my end. We are back and we are ready to talk about some Impact. We have. I go away for a week, and it seems everything's just happening in that 1 week. But ready to talk about some Impact and everything that's been going down in the last 2 weeks. We're throwing a little bit of hard to kill at the end for you, just to get our two pence worth. And I guess without further ado, before we start, I just want to say a big thank you to Lizzie Evo and Ricky Knight Jr. for being the first two guests on TBN Chat. If there are any UK independent wrestlers or any independent wrestlers that you want to see appear on TBN Chats, either tweet us at TNAW channel, tweet myself or Nixon. You can see our Twitter handles below us.
For the podcast listeners, I'm at Peter Nixon ESQ, and it's at Mr. Impact Craig.
Yes, correct. I keep forgetting this goes out on audio. I apologize to people listening to audio. You're great. We appreciate every time you click our little links.
I wouldn't. Craig might, but I wouldn't.
Well, it's difficult to remember after time where this is going. But yeah, speak on that matter. You can catch us here, there, and everywhere: Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram. Instagram just yet. Instagram very soon, not just yet. YouTube, Spotify, and wherever else you podcast. So without any further ado, let's get straight into this week's headline and where to start. But it looks like it's Ring of Honor versus Impact Wrestling. And of course, they're adding a little bit of WWE into that with Mickie James officially in the Royal Rumble and will be entering the Royal Rumble as Impact Knockouts World Champion. And from a recent interview she had with Ariel Helwani, I apologize if I butchered that name, she will be coming out with the Knockouts title and to Hardcore Country. So I want to get your thoughts on that with WWE, where you see that going, and the Ring of Honor thing that's happening right now, even though Gresham and Ian Kabani are saying they have nothing to do with it. We'll soon see, I guess. But yeah, your thoughts on this entire thing, that the Forbidden Door, and just have at it where you think this is going. Are you a fan of it? And just have at it.
Well, Tony Khan always said he was the Forbidden Door, but Impact have been the leader of this Forbidden Door era. They've worked with pretty much everyone. So it's beyond exciting, honestly, because you never know who could turn up next week, or where Eddie Edwards could be next week, or where Moose could be the following week. Do you know what I mean? It's exciting times. As far as the Royal Rumble, again, it's unprecedented, isn't it? That the 10 years ago, if you said the Impact Knockouts champion was going to be in the Royal Rumble, nonsense. But it's 2022. Anything can happen now. I mean, it's not beyond the realm of comprehension that Chris Jericho could be in the Royal Rumble this year. Do you know what I mean? It's that sort of time in wrestling that there are no boundaries anymore. So, I mean, I think WWE will keep the reins on, pardon the pun. And I don't think Mickie will enter with the Knockouts Championship or the or Hardcore Country, the theme tune. I think they'll send her out in her spandex, not the Dukes of Hazzard like outfit.
Daisy Dukes.
It will be the WWE version of Mickie James. She said in an interview that she wants and she will campaign to get Hardcore Country and the Knockouts Championship on air. I just can't see it happening, I'm afraid. But I'm sure she'll get a good run in the Rumble. She's not going to be in and out. They wouldn't bring her in specifically for the Rumble and just have her do 5 minutes and gone. So yeah, it's very exciting. I know there's been rumours that there's another Forbidden Door talent for the men's Royal Rumble in talks. I can't see it being an Impact wrestler. I think if it's going to be anyone, it's going to be Jericho. Can't see it being anyone else even making sense. But yeah, so much going on, with the Ring of Honor. Sorry if I'm rambling, Craig. We missed a week and everything happens.
Yeah, I mean, unless you're on top of all this, it just goes over your head half the time. I mean, the Ring of Honor stuff is incredible. We're getting to the impact of last week where it really kicked off. But, seeing Matt Taven, Mike Bennett, Murray Kanellis, PCO and Vincent just pop up. Ian Riccaboni on commentary is incredible. I hope until Ring of Honor's back, I hope Ian Riccaboni sticks with Impact for a little bit. I'm guessing they will if this is where it's going. If this storyline's progressing a little bit more, I'm happy with it. As for the WWE, we mentioned it on the pre-show for Hard to Kill, and yeah, obviously the big question is what are Impact going to get in return for this? Because they are, even though a lot of people are saying that WWE giving them the rub is enough, but it's still, even though there's no tapings at that time, Impact is still offering up talent. They're Knockouts World Champion. I assume some form of give and take has to happen. It's happened before. And look at Ric Flair going to the Hall of Fame. So we had Christian come over for the night. I believe RVD showed up on a Raw reunion, and the rumors were that Impact let Rhino out of his 90 days a little bit earlier. Again, I don't know the complete story on that, but I assume Impact might get something in return. But on a whole, I sent out a little tweet when I got back online finally, and Impact has worked with Dragon Gate, AAA, Lucha Underground, New Japan, AEW, WWE. It's insane the companies they've worked with and where they've actually been acknowledged. So it's just, wrestling is complete. Scott D'Amore is incredible what he does. Impact, Scott D'Amore, Ed Nordholm, and Anthem, everyone else came in with a 5-year plan. Well, this is year 5. So if the fact that they have, they've always had a kind of working relationship with WWE, more of a tape exchange thing for the network and a little bit for the Ken Shamrock Hall of Fame induction. But it's still crazy that Mickie James is going into the Royal Rumble as Knockouts World Champion.
Yeah,
I never see that.
It's mad, isn't it? Scott D'Amore has always been good at building relationships with other companies. Ever since he started Border City Wrestling in the very, very early days of TNA, he was always good at maintaining those working relationships. And I think he got a bit of that from Jeff Jarrett, because he always did the same thing. I didn't even think about the fact that the tape trading bits for the Shamrock induction, and when you watch Table of 3 on the WWE Network, they're showing bits from Kurt Angle versus AJ Styles, things like that. So yeah, it's good to have a good relationship with that company, because there are other companies that don't have a good relationship with them, and they will suffer because of that. But yeah, getting back to the Ring of Honor stuff, I hope, as you say, Riccaboni sticks around. I think he's one of the best doing it at the moment.
Probably the best.
As far as the ROH Renegade group of PCO, Matt Taven, Mike Bennett, and Vincent with Miria, I think they are just that. They are in the storyline aspect, they are a renegade group. I don't think they will show an affiliation with Ring of Honor. So Gresham can do his thing, Roxy as well if they continue to use her, and Riccaboni, Bobby Cruz. But I think, they will stick with this group as a renegade group. And then if they're here for the long term, fantastic. If they're going back to Ring of Honor when that relaunches for Supercard of Honor, I think that's in April, then we've had a good run with them, and let them go and do their thing. Maybe they'll be back again one day. But like Max and Jeff said on the Mothership, PCO was out of his contract with Ring of Honor before Ring of Honor shut down, before it was even announced that Ring of Honor was going to shut down. So, and the rumors are that PCO has signed an exclusive contract with Impact Wrestling. I hope that's the case. I know Max and Jeff shit on it a bit, because of the age thing, and I don't think you can discriminate against PCO because he's 53 or however old. He's still doing stuff that I can't do. I can't do a moonsault. I'm 34 and I can't do a moonsault. I tried it once, landed on my head, so I won't be doing that again.
Yeah, not good.
Yeah. So PCO, when he had that match against Gunther Stark.
Fuck. If he was still XUK and we were talking about that, I'd be fucking fuming.
Oh, it's mad, isn't it? What were they thinking? How could they not Google that name and realize that ridiculous. Gunther Stark was a Nazi military commander in World War II? It's the mind boggles. And what's wrong with his? Right, we're getting off topic. This is an Impact Wrestling podcast. I do apologize. There's plenty of podcasts that will talk about Walter. When PCO had that match against Walter at Spring Break, I think it would have been 2018, and his comeback started from there, and he had those matches against Joey Janela and people, with GCW. And then he signed with Ring of Honor, and he went on this massive tear, winning the Ring of Honor World title. Okay. That, for me, he was the most exciting person to watch in wrestling at that time, because he was doing the stuff with the Quebecers and the pirate stuff with Bret Hart in the early 90s, and you thought, he's all right. But then he's doing all this crazy zombie stuff and mutilating his body. I don't know if that's like smoke and mirrors or if he's actually, his body's capable of taking all this weird punishment. Right. But I'd like to believe it's magic, isn't it? You want to believe that tiger just disappeared or whatever. But however he does it, it's cool to watch. We were at Madison Square Garden for Ring of Honor in 2019, and they did the electric chair on the stage, and it was fantastic.
Nice.
PCO is fantastic as far as I'm concerned. I won't hear a bad word said about him. I'm very excited. If he's in Impact Wrestling exclusively, it's only a good thing as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, that's a fair shout. I mean, as we get into more details on this, on the coming ins and outs of Impact in the first sub headline, but I mean, first of all, this whole Ring of Honor thing, when it happened on Live and Hard to Kill, I said, Ring of Honor Invasion, ? I'm here for it. Let's do it. I kind of hope that there's a few more, because I looked at the Ring of Honor roster a couple of days ago. I mean, there's still a lot on there. Session Moth Martina is still on that roster. Joe Hendry is still on that roster. I'm praying Session Moth Martina comes over to Impact.
I think she's a perfect fit for Impact, and Joe Hendry was there before, and he did a great job back then. Yeah, would have been 5 years ago, 4 years ago.
2018, because his last match with Impact was in 2018, because I saw him. I was at that show, Impact versus the UK.
Yeah,
he faced Eli Drake, and that was his last match for Impact.
Say it properly. Say Eli Drake properly.
Oh, Eli Drake.
Thank you.
But I got onto that quickly. When Eli Drake came out, the entire venue was popped huge. Everyone rushed to the front of the guardrail so they could join in, going, Eli Drake, dummy. Yeah, well, everyone was lapping it up. And then Joe Hendry came out, he got booed out of the building. Booed out of that building. Even though for the most part, people were still singing his theme song.
Yeah.
But then theme songs are over, boo, for no reason. I think he rolled up Eli Drake, and I leapt out of my seat, like huge, like it properly like got me like what? Because he probably like rolled him up out of nowhere, and like I jumped up out my seat because that was like the first wrestling show I'd probably been to. That was my first ever wrestling event, and I just think incredible stuff. But now again, look at the rosters. People on there is insane to me. And obviously, we've got New Japan added to that. And I keep saying that until I'm blue in the face, but obviously now Gabriel Kidd is out on his excursion tour. I hope he can come through Impact at some point. I'd love to see Gabriel Kidd on Impact in some way. He's officially graduated from the New Japan Dojo, so which wasn't really announced that much, but he has graduated the dojo, but it wasn't a thing. No thing made out of it, which surprising me.
Good for him. I didn't know that.
That is awesome. I actually got to see him on his last Kamikaze match before. No one knew where he was going at that point, but knew who was leaving. He had a great match with Niwa.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's incredible. They were a tag team for a little bit in Kamikaze. And yeah, Niwa, I was like, they put some heel stuff, and as Niwa was heading to the back, I was booing him right for the guardrail, and he just walked past me and went, boo. And he went, yes. He did a crying face to me. I love that. Heel work is incredible.
Yeah.
If you can make me get pissed off at you, like you're doing a great job.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's this whole thing, the Forbidden D'Amour, which I'll never call anything else now, because Scott D'Amour is truly the Forbidden Door.
Yeah.
There's even like you said, even before this, Impact have had an open door policy for years, for as long as I can remember. Obviously the New Japan relationship soured a little bit in 2011, 2010.
Because they didn't do anything with Okada, who's now probably the best wrestler in the world.
I could debate that, but no, I appreciate how good he is, and obviously the whole situation with the tag team titles as well, just stripping Team 3D or taking the titles off Team 3D, who New Japan wanted as tag team champions, to put on the British Invasion. Like, you can't be doing that.
No, not without informing the office.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose it wouldn't be much of a big deal if they're going to drop them back afterwards. Just for like a bit of. But they didn't. They kept them on them until they had to go back to Japan. You can't be doing that. I honestly thought New Japan had every right to do that with Finjuice.
Yeah.
New Japan had every right to do it.
But fuck you back.
Yeah, but thankfully they didn't, and this relationship is just going to be even better. And speaking of, we've got to get onto the first subheading, because I mean, wow. First of all, we mentioned it earlier, but PCO has reportedly signed a contract with Impact Wrestling. At the TV tapings coming up on the 21st of January, we have the Gorillas of Destiny and Jay White of the Bullet Club coming in. And a match has been announced for those TV tapings. It's going to be Chris Bay, Jay White, and GOD Bullet Club versus Ace Austin, Trey Miguel, Madman Fulton, and Speedball Mike Bailey in an 8-man tag. I mean, holy shekels. That's going to be incredible. And Tommy Dreamer also revealed on Busted Open that he has offered several different roles to William Regal to join Impact Wrestling. I'm not sure what the roles are, but also AEW has reached out and offered him a crucial role, I believe they called it, in AEW. Something on there, and unfortunately, some going on. Not sure what, but Jake Something's contract is either ran out or running out, and a small conversation is taking place about him re-signing, but nothing's been furthered. So I don't know what's going on there, but I mean, get your thoughts on the potentials, ins and outs. Jake something, especially because he hasn't really had much to do since leaving the Dinas. Even the Dinas didn't have that much to do before we became Jake something. And of course, get your thoughts on William Regal potentially joining Impact as well, and everything else that's going on.
Yeah, right. From the top, Bullet Club, probably the most influential wrestling group of the last 10 years, maybe more. So it's always cool to see more members of Bullet Club pop up in Impact. And I hope Chris Bay is able to carry on this chapter of the Bullet Club in Impact Wrestling. Cool to see the leader, Jay White, and now GOD coming in. I know Max and Jeff wanted GOD there for a long while.
Yeah, been quite a while. Max, yeah, especially Max, he's been wanting that for quite some time.
Yeah, so I'm glad that he's finally getting that. So that 8-man tag that you just announced, it sounds a lot of fun. Look forward to seeing that. I hope they do more than just, a few matches here and there. I hope they have more of an impact on these tapings. Regal coming in, nah, I don't think it's going to happen. I think AEW can throw far more money at him, and right now he'd be a fool not to take that money from AEW, unless he's got friends in Impact that he wants to help out or whatever. I don't know who his friends are in the wrestling business. I mean, Triple H was absolutely shafted on this series of cuts. Yeah. All of his mates are gone. I feel so bad for him. I'd love to know what exactly is happening there.
Interesting.
With Jeff Jarrett throwing his hat back in the mix, with potentially promoting and doing stuff in wrestling. Cody Rhodes now being a free agent. And Triple H, no one's going on with him. If those three could unite and make this super promotion, what are you rubbing your head?
Oh, I mean, Triple H, yes, he absolutely should. Jarrett, I mean, Jarrett's hardly had what you can call a successful time running promotions. And as for Cody, I don't believe he had that much of a say in what took place in AEW from the beginning. I know they've been stripped of the EVP titles, so Triple H should absolutely go for his own. How come to Impact? Why not? I'm sure Anthem can afford him. Anthem can afford it. Yeah. Impact maybe can't, but Anthem surely can.
Mm-hmm. Well, anyway, again, I've gone off on another tangent. So yeah, I can't see Regal coming in, not to Impact. Dreamer can throw job titles at him all day. I just can't see it happening. Maybe he can come and do a one-off, or a few tapings as an on-screen character, but I can't see him, sticking around for any period of time. And honestly, WWE would be foolish not to re-sign him in some capacity. He's been so influential, certainly as like a talent relations role for NXT, the Black and Gold brand. And what was the third one you said? Jake something.
Jake something. Yeah.
So, Jake has been a little bit wasted in Impact. He's had some good matches, but I don't think he's been featured to his full potential. I would like to have seen more of Jake. But having said that, he has done some good stuff. Like the pre-show at Hard to Kill had a surprising banger with Madman Fulton. I dare say that pre-show, those two matches, it's the best wrestling pre-show I've certainly seen for Impact, maybe ever in any wrestling promotion. Two fantastic matches before the main card started, and then it set the pace for what was one of the best Impact pay-per-views ever. But we'll get to that. Jake something, if he doesn't stick around, I don't blame him. Having said that, where else is he going to go? I don't think WWE. I mean, he's got a good size, good body. I don't think he's got a massive amount of charisma, but he can work. I think WWE wouldn't really know what to do with him. They've got plenty of people that look like him. He'd be wasted in AEW. He'd be on Dark every week, you know, beating Captain Sean Dean and what other jobbers they have. So I think the best place for him is Impact Wrestling, honestly. If he can renegotiate a bit more money in his deal, fantastic. I'd like to see him stick around. What about you, Craig?
I mean, just going back to the Bullet Club coming in, with GOD especially, this, unless it's something like Okada over, this is probably like Impact had some of New Japan's top talent come out. New Japan have sent some of their very top talent, who they see a lot in. And I mean, GOD, especially Tamatonga, I never thought I'd see him. Obviously, Tangaloa has been an Impact in a full life.
Yeah, he was part of Drew McIntyre's old stable, the Rising.
The Rising as Mike.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So, and this, and with now Tamatonga coming in, this means that as far as I know, if currently involved in wrestling, Impact have had every single son of Haku come into Impact, which is including Haku. So it's incredible to see. So happy, and I cannot wait to see what they do. They're obviously going to set up for GOD with the Good Brothers. I think that's almost inevitable, especially after what happened at Resurgence a few months back. So cool, great. When Regal coming in, I would love to see him come in, but like you, I just can't see it happening. It's Regal. I mean, he's probably made his money right now, but you know, especially with visas, because we have to renew that now. Unless I don't know his visa stats right. Maybe has taken the citizenship test and he's a US citizen now. I honestly don't know. He probably is after all this time. I'd say.
I thought so, considering he's been in the US since the early '90s. I can't see turfing him out.
No, I'd assume he's a citizen, so maybe that didn't affect it too much. But it's not going to happen in Impact. I would love to see him, but what can Impact really offer him apart from a on-screen GM role? And maybe Anthem could give him Don Callis' old position. I mean, that's a possibility. And I assume that's good pay. I don't know, but I assume it's good pay.
I didn't think of that, but yeah, I was thinking purely Impact Wrestling, but maybe there's a position for him higher up with Anthem.
Yeah, he'd be a great EVP, a phenomenal EVP for Anthem and Impact. So can't fault on that. On to Jake something now.
Before we move on, sorry, Craig, I keep hearing your microphone. I don't know if it's rubbing against your clothes or whatever. Keep getting a bit of feedback there.
And I have headphones and a microphone set up, so it could be either.
I can barely hear you now. Yeah.
Yeah, there we go. So technical difficulties. TNA. Yeah, as for Jake something, I've been a fan of Jake something for a long time. It took me a while to get invested in the Dinas, and maybe he should have joined VBD, but I don't know. It reminds me of the AC Romero situation.
Yeah,
it's not. You have someone on the roster who is a potential monster, and you just, I don't know. You just, I mean, we'll get into more in a second, but Mike Bailey defeated Jake Something this week.
Yeah.
Mike Bailey needed the win, but Jake Something, I mean, he hasn't had that many wins to his name. Yeah, he beat Fulton on the pre-show of Hard to Kill, I thought that might be the start of a turnaround for him, but I know you could have given Mike Bailey someone else.
Exactly. There are other people on the roster. You didn't need to feed Jake something to him unless they're just winding down his contract.
Maybe, but I wish more could have come out of this Jake something, because he is. I said it for a while. He needs a manager. He needs someone to speak for him. Someone I had an idea of, but changed my mind on a few times. But I think could be super good for him. Is Selena De La Renta. I think she would be a great manager for him. She used to managing big guys, so maybe. But if it is there for Jake something, it sucks because he could have been one of those homegrown talents that could have really, really shone. But it just never happened for whatever reason. What was a tag team, and Dina's were a feeder team to the team that push it. You know, if whoever was in the favourite of the month, they'll give Dina's will lose. It's all guaranteed. I mean, Cody Dean is still losing now, but he also doesn't affect him that badly because he's in a monster faction.
Exactly.
But as for Jake, and it could have done this more of him. If he does resign, great. I hope it can find a more prominent place for him in what he can do, because he can move, he can go, but yeah, the charisma is a slight issue, but nothing that can't be fixed with a decent mouthpiece.
Yeah, true. I don't think Selena De La Renta is the person for that. I think that sounds like a massive odd couple. Unless you're pushing Jake something as a monster heel. But I'm sure you can find someone else.
Yeah,
well, I think Selena De La Renta's talents would lie elsewhere, with maybe another talent. I'd love to see her come in. I think she's fantastic. That just seems like an odd pairing.
I'm just throwing stuff out as still sticks, you know.
Yeah.
I don't make the decisions, so
no.
Who knows?
I'm still hearing your microphone, Craig. I'm just concerned if people are listening and it could be annoying.
I'm moving around a lot. I'm trying to sit still for now.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's move on now to the second subheading, and it's the Impact review. Looking back at this week's Impact, we had Laredo Kid defeating Chris Bay, Speedball Mike Daly defeats Jake Something, Marshall Slamovich defeats Vert Dixon, Josh Alexander makes a challenge to Moose and Impact in general. No one's getting it his way. Out comes Charlie Haas. And Moose defeats Zicky Dice in a World Championship match in 2 seconds, I guess. Jonah defeats Raj Singh, and Deonna Purrazzo defeats Roxy to become the new Ring of Honor Women's World Champion. What are your thoughts on Impact this week?
I mean, just following on from Hard to Kill, one of the better episodes they've done in a long time. There's so much to talk about from that show. So many goings on, so many happenings. Some great matches, some squash matches, but I think you need them at times to enhance people that you're building or, keeping strong. For example, Moose just obliterating Zicky Dice in a matter of seconds. But that was still entertaining, and even though it was a squash match, it got over Zicky Dice, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
I'm over as a bit of a lovable loser. And, our world champion can beat someone in his street clothes in a matter of seconds. It keeps Moose strong, obviously. And then Masha Slamovich having that squash match, she looked really strong there, continuing to build her up, I'm assuming, to challenge Mickie James or whoever is the Knockouts champion at that point. So yeah, a lot of stuff to talk about. The monster pop Charlie Haas got, didn't expect that.
No.
But I think it's because the crowd in Dallas didn't expect to see Charlie Haas. So when his name popped up on the Dixietron, people, lost their shit. It was cool to watch. He looks a bit weathered, doesn't he? He looks a bit old, but I think that's because he hasn't been on TV in nearly 15 years.
Yeah, I haven't seen him since I think it's like 2003. The last time I saw Charlie Haas on TV. So
yeah, he was in Ring of Honor for a time. I think till about 2009, teaming with Shelton Benjamin, doing some good stuff there. But yeah, he's aged quite a bit. I will reserve my judgment until I see him perform this week.
Yeah.
Or tonight, I should say. I'm sure the match will be great against Josh Alexander. And I hope it leads to more opportunities for Charlie Haas, should he want them in the future.
Yeah. I think he's coming back. I know he picked up an injury in this match against Josh.
Oh, right.
But yeah, I think it's a knee injury, but it's only I think it's going to take a matter of maybe a month or two to recover from. So, and he's back on he's doing a tour. Can't remember what it's called it, but he's back. He's taking bookings everywhere. So.
Oh, good for him. Well, I mean, these things will happen if you're only doing bits and pieces here and there, and then you come into Impact Wrestling into a match with arguably the best wrestler in Impact Wrestling. Someone as intense as Josh Alexander, you're going to pick up injuries. These things happen. Yeah. The match I was looking forward to on Impact, and the match that certainly didn't disappoint, was Chris Bay and Laredo Kid. But I mean, it's good to have Laredo Kid pick up the win there, but I can't help but feel like Chris Bay is losing a lot at the moment. He's not picking up many wins, and that leading into Jay White and God coming in, maybe this is a boost Chris Bay needs, or maybe in a storyline aspect they're going to give him a kick up the arse.
Maybe. I mean, see, first of all, the Laredo Kid and Bay was phenomenal. I'm a big fan of Spanish Fly. I love that move to pieces. It's just so perfect when it's done right, but it's not often I see that move messed up in anyway. It's the arch is landing perfect, and obviously Laredo Kid's version, I don't even know the technical term for it, even though it's just Spanish Fly into, I don't know what it's into.
It's almost like a Spanish Fly overhead belly to belly suplex.
Yeah, and it lands flat then with Laredo on top, which is beyond me. You can never ever do that in a million years. So,
I mean, you need perfect coordination with your opponent to do a move like that and land it properly.
Yeah. Yeah. But Impact this week was just incredible. So happy to see Speed with Mike Bailey. So happy. I've been wanting to see him for so long. Now he's in Impact, and I don't think this is the perfect place for him. Impact is perfect for Speed with Mike Bailey, because if you may be familiar with him, if you pay attention to the UK scene and the Canadian scene, you would know who he is. You've seen him on shows, you've seen him advertised. But in America, maybe you know him as the guy who was banned from America for 5 years. So I guess it's a nice reintroduction, and he's just incredible. His moveset he had a match. He's on the Impact YouTube digital media exclusive match this week, but it happened at the Pro Wrestling Revolver. Faced Ace Romero.
Ace Romero, yeah.
Yeah. Great match. And myself, Speedball versus Ace was great. Marsha Slamovich looked like a monster, and how she should be. Charlie Haas coming out. Even though on the TNIW Rankings Committee, a group chat which you can join if you want to join the TNIW Rankings Committee. just hit up myself or Jeff, and we'll add you into the rankings committee to give your top 10 on the Impact each week. Top 10 wrestlers, that is. Impact each week. You can join. But I saw Charlie Haas's name pop up on a message, so I assumed he was in the rankings on Friday when I actually watch Impact. So I found that out, but still popped me because in years since I've seen Charlie Haas. Moose versus Zicky Dice. Loved it. Even though I found out later that Moose, that wasn't the original plan for that episode, but Moose has picked up an injury. I don't know how severe it is, but that's why he came out in the streets and beat him and didn't hardly move because they wanted to make look strong, but it wasn't the plan they wanted to do with. I've heard. As well as Rosemary, I believe, is injured as well. Picked up an injury at taping, but I don't understand. Jonah defeating Raj Singh. I think, is Jonah a face now, or is he still trying to be a heel? I'm not entirely sure. And I mean, quite down to the moment, John Peraza versus Roxy and Diana Peraza winning the Ring of Honor World Women's Championship. Great stuff. I predicted it would happen because Roxy was a favourite in the trial she had with the WWE. So I assume that's where she's headed. So good for her. Get that money, why not? So it's a great match, and the ending is great as well. I can't fault anything that happened on that show. Maybe a little bit here and there, but nothing major. It's just going to be great.
We didn't even talk about the obliteration of D'Lo Brown.
Of course, D'Lo got taken out twice by PCO. I know it's like when you watch it as a wrestler, but when the table doesn't break, I cringe.
Oh yeah,
it's got to hurt more, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I've been through a handful of tables, but they've always broken. So I can't speak, with experience on tables breaking, but it looks awful. And it's not satisfying to watch, is it? When wrestlers go through a table and it doesn't break, you want that, satisfying. It's so much more visually appealing. Yeah, poor old D'Lo. He got a pasting from the Kingdom of PCO. I hope it leads to D'Lo coming back with backup. And I know the lads on the mothership suggested Shane Taylor Promotions. That would be a lot of fun.
Shane Taylor did tweet saying that Scott D'Amore saying he's not going to let that happen. Just give him a call.
Yeah.
Shane Taylor wants to come. I mean, it's either going to be Shane Taylor or the Aces and Eights.
Oh, I didn't even think of Aces and Eights.
They did do that little teaser.
Yeah, I remember
last
that.
year.
Yeah. Who would you have then? Who would you have represent Aces and Eights? Got to be Bully.
Yeah, bring Bully in. I would say Wes Briscoe as well.
Yeah.
Wes and maybe Mr. Anderson.
Yeah, that would be fun. Ken's a great dude. We love Ken.
Yeah. So we're going to have D'Lo and Anderson team up at the TNA show.
Yeah.
Supposed to happen before COVID.
WrestleCon.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I would love to see that, but that's the global pandemic.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do they call it over on Cultaholic? Oh, it's what's called the ongoing global bastard, isn't it? Yeah. Of course, tonight, on for UK fans, it's 3 a.m. on 1:30 a.m.
Yeah.
On Ultimate Insiders, but 3 a.m. over on Impact Plus. And not in the States, it's 8/7 Central, 7 Eastern. I think I should really know this by now. But I mean, it's going to be a great show. We have Charlie Haas versus Josh Alexander, Joe Doring and Doc Gallows versus Heath and Rhino, Chelsea Green versus Tasha Steelz, BSK versus W. Morrissey, and Steve Macklin versus Jonathan Gresham for the Ring of Honor World Championship.
It's another loaded lineup. And I said this to a friend who were just messaging about Impact Wrestling. It's a totally different match for Gresham. You know, that match, Gresham and Sabin, I said it would steal the show, and I believe it did.
Yes.
Gresham and Macklin is a totally different style of match from that one. So interested to see how Gresham deals with a totally different opponent. I expect it to be phenomenal.
Yeah. This week's Impact, I mean, there isn't a match I'm not necessarily not looking forward to. I mean, Chelsea against Tasha Steeles, I'm not expecting a lot from it. Should be fine. Should be good.
Well, it's the final two from Ultimate X, isn't it? So there is reason behind it. It should be fun. I'm hoping Tasha picks up the victory. She needs to keep that momentum going forward.
For sure.
I expect VSK versus Morrissey to be a bit one-sided.
Yeah.
Sorry about your boy VSK there.
Yeah, no. What can you do? I did see somewhere Myers put a challenge out that it'll be the Learning Tree versus W Morrissey. But then they announced this week it was just VSK versus Morrissey. I was hoping for a 3-on-1 because
maybe that's what they turned it into then.
Yeah, maybe, hopefully, because when Morrissey wins that, he's going to look like even more of a badass and go, because they're also going to keep pushing for the world title a little bit more, judging by what happened last week. So just keep that going. I wanted them to do that so badly with it was Moose versus the Rascals. I wanted that so badly. I believe it was at Rebellion coming up, but they had Moose and the North versus the Rascals.
Yeah.
But I was really hoping for Moose versus the Rascals, because the Rascals at that point, the Rascals didn't really. They're still fresh, so a loss wouldn't have hurt them, especially for pushing Moose. But I hope they do that with the Learning Tree and Morrissey, because the Learning Tree, Zicky Dice is going to be kicked out of the Learning Tree soon. It's almost inevitable. Zicky Dice will be on his own at some point.
And then
I hope.
What do they do? Do they bring back Sam Beale and they could be a team?
No, I really want the team of Johnny Swinger and Zicky Dice. Yeah, I'm praying for that team. Since Zicky Dice got released by the NWA, I've been wanting that team of Zicky Dice and Johnny Swinger. It's a pity they shut down Swinger's Palace, but they can still make that team work. Especially if Hernandez, if the rumors are true that Hernandez is gone. I don't know for certain, but they certainly written him out well enough.
I hadn't heard that, but yeah, I think they would be a good pairing.
Yeah, I mean, these Hernandez thing, it's just a rumor as far as I'm aware, but the way it felt with Ace and Fulton taking him out, yeah, maybe it's. But if it is, then he'll be back. Like, I can't see Hernandez going for too long. He always pops up and impacts some of that down the line.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's. I joined that thing with him and Ace Austin and Mama Fulton. I was watching the entranceway, hoping I'd see Homicide.
Yeah.
Hoping and praying I'd see Homicide, but it didn't happen. Shouldn't have got my hopes up. But it's. I mean, if this show this week can match or top the show from last week, it's going to be such a great show again. And by looks of the card on paper, this is one of the best shows they're going to put out. But obviously, paper's a different thing.
Certainly the best run of like pay-per-view and then the two tapings, the best run of shows they've had in a long time.
For sure. I mean, I'm a big fan of the pairing of Joe Doring and Doc Gallows. I'm a big fan of that.
Yeah.
I like just big dominant tag teams. Even though Doring and Doc aren't a tag team, team together. The matches they had, the host fight they had where they went for the stage, incredible. And as a team, I mean, just wow. And
they're meant to be like Hansen and Doc, aren't they? Stan Hansen and Dr. Death.
Yeah.
All Japan.
Yeah.
That's the vibes I get.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yes. So that's a bit off track a bit, but see, I with the Chris Bay and Haku, see, Chris
Hikuleo.
Bay and Hikuleo were teaming. I really wanted them to do the Andre and Haku finish.
Yeah.
I really wanted to do that. They didn't do it. I don't know why. But anyway, we're now on to the final 10. And yeah, we didn't get a chance to talk about it last week after it happened. So, but Max and Jeff did a great job of covering it over on the main show. But we want to get our 2 pence worth in. I want to take you favorite moments from Hard to Kill. A lot to choose from, but whether it be a match or a moment or too many segments, but just favorite Hard to Kill moments.
Yeah, as you say, a lot to talk about with Hard to Kill. I think I can't remember a better Impact Wrestling pay-per-view than that, and there's been some fantastic ones. I mean, the only one that I can think of that is, you know, on that level was Slammiversary 18 with Penta versus Sami Callihan, Austin Aries versus Moose.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's up there with that as far as I'm concerned. A hell of a show. And, you know, we've only just started this podcast, and I know at times we come across as shills for Impact. Because we pretty much gush over Impact every week. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's because we're fans. And if something was shit, we would say it was shit. Hard to Kill was anything but shit. Like I said, the pre-show was fantastic. Kicked it off for the Ultimate X, the perfect opener as far as I'm concerned. There was one bit where Alicia was on the cable and Rosemary jumped up, did the spear, but Lish held on a bit long and it turned into a flapjack. But it looked better than it would have done if she hit the spear. Like, she dragged her down with the flapjack. It looked fantastic.
Yes.
And
agreed.
then poor old Chelsea slipped off once, but that's the only botch that I can remember from the match. Everything looked really good. Jordan Grace looked at home on that cable.
Yeah.
I was surprised that none of them were wearing gloves, honestly. I'd be wearing gloves if I was in an Ultimate X match.
Yeah.
Because you are prone to, you know, getting sweaty and slipping off that cable. The right person won, as far as I'm concerned, and it meant that I won the prediction contest.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to seeing what Tasha does with that title shot, if she cashes it in like a Money in the Bank shot, or, you know, calls her shot. And then, you know, going on to Trey and Macklin. I've said it before on this podcast. I never thought I'd be a fan of Steve Macklin. You know, when they brought him in, I thought, why this guy? Why do we need him? And then he's just impressed me so much during his time in Impact. And this is his best match yet. I know he had people in the crowd, didn't he? I think.
Yeah.
Colleagues maybe, or.
Yeah, a friend of the podcast, Christine Shining Polaris. Yeah, Trey dove onto her lap essentially.
Yeah.
She filmed the entire thing from her point of view.
I saw it on Twitter. It was fantastic.
Yeah.
I think Macklin had people in the crowd, like people he went to war with, maybe.
Oh yeah. He had some of his I forget the word. Some of his colleagues, some of his people he served with. Yeah, I think he was. Yeah. Some people he served with in the crowd.
Yeah, it looked like he was doing everything he could to impress them, but in doing that, he impressed me as well. I thought the match was fantastic, and I thought when that match finished, and you know, I didn't expect Trey to win the match to start with, but I was happy he did, and the way he did it means Trey can go on to more title defenses and, you know, establish his reign as a dominant X Division champion. And it means Macklin, although he lost, he didn't look weak in defeat because he got beaten with Trey's best. Trey had to bust out his best stuff to beat Macklin. So it didn't make Macklin look weak in defeat, and he can go on to bigger stuff, obviously with the Ring of Honor World Title shot tonight. But yeah, when that match finished, I thought there's no way Gresham and Sabin can top that. And fuck me, did they ever.
That match, I love that match so fucking much. It was sexy wrestling.
Did you say sexy wrestling?
Sexy wrestling, yes, I said it. I stand by it. Honestly, it's perfect.
It was very sexy, I'll give you that. Probably the best match I've seen this year so far. Oh, Craig, I can't hear you, mate.
Any better?
Yeah, that's better.
Yeah. I think my microphone might be buggered. But yeah, you go on to like the Hardcore War, which a lot of people weren't invested in that one, but it's something about having a war and a hardcore war, especially when the two factions face off against each other and they start going at it. And Tom Hannafin shouts, "Somebody hit somebody!" I love that.
Yeah,
I love that so much, and it got me. I was like, yes, just hit him, just fucking hit him. And then the flaming kendo spot, insane.
Yeah, that was cool.
Even though I'm not a fan of, I know it's not real per se. I know it's all set up, but on the Good Brothers podcast vlog, sorry, they were rehearsing the spot backstage, and I know you've got to practice that, but I don't want to see it. I want to be ignorant of it. I'm not a fan of that, but I understand. I know that shit has to be rehearsed because, especially when you're messing with fire, yeah, rehearse that.
Some people do like to see the magic behind these moves, though, don't they? So I can see why they would put that on their vlog.
Yeah, no, I get it. There's a lot of people who want to see the behind the curtain stuff, and I do to a certain extent. Like, again, another tangent. I think we should get a tangent written on a t-shirt. But I watched the Broken Skull sessions between Stone Cold Steve Austin and Bret Hart, and they're watching their match from WrestleMania, and the way they broke it down, like, it gave me a whole new appreciation for every match I ever watch. But they broke that match down, and you can see just by the way they're talking, those two are the very best. Like, so I get completely, but it's just a thing of mine, I guess. A little not bugbear, but I also want to be ignorant to it.
I get you.
But no, even after that, had I think Moose and Morrissey and Cardona, which again, not a lot of people are excited for, but they smashed it. They had a phenomenal match,
and it was different from everything else on the show. It was a bit of a dog and pony show at times. A lot of run-ins and ref bumps and things like that, but you didn't see that elsewhere on the card. So it was fresh and it was exciting. And at any point, anyone could have won that match, and I wouldn't have been upset about it. I thought they did a fantastic job. We missed out Josh and Jonah.
Josh and Jonah, of course. Well, my fight stream cut out at that point, so
I didn't see all of
it. I didn't see all of it. I saw enough. I didn't see all of it. But I saw the Josh bleeding. There was a lot of blood on that show as well.
Yeah, it was.
Quite a lot of blood on that.
Well, for Hard to Kill, it makes sense, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I think pretty much everyone in the Hardcore War bled, didn't they? I think everyone bled in that match.
Carl Anderson didn't. He's the only one who didn't want to bleed. He said he's not bleeding. He told me he's not bleeding. I think there are only two legitimate bleeds. I think Doc and EY were two, because again Doc was gluing himself after the match.
Oh right.
Yeah, I think Doc and EY were the two legitimately bleeding. I'm not sure about the rest. They didn't show the rest of them, but I know Doc and EY for sure. It
Right.
definitely looked like they were all just pissing with blood.
Ooh.
It was bad, and obviously even in the main event, which great choice for a main event, Mickie James versus Deonna Purrazzo for the Knockout World Championship in Texas Deathmatch. So I'd seen Texas Deathmatches before, but I didn't know that, because the companies that put them on, they were just basically just no DQ matches. They weren't death matches. They weren't. Well, this one wasn't really a death match to the extent it's been seen elsewhere. But I didn't know that you had to pin someone and then they had to stay down for a 10 count. I had no idea that was a stipulation, because it's insane, because I think Bully Ray and EC3 had a Texas death match. I can't remember that being a stipulation.
Yeah, in my experience, that is the stipulation for a Texas death match. I've seen Cactus Jack and Sandman have Texas death match. Ric Flair and Terry Funk had one on pay-per-view in 2000, which was a lot of fun. It wasn't as good as their match in 1989, obviously, but it was Super Brawl 2000, and I do recommend it because it is a fun match. So yeah, I was ready for the stipulation, but I think in this day and age, that stipulation is a bit confusing, and I would have preferred if it was just a last person standing match.
Yeah, that's fair.
What I'm going to say now might offend some people, might not offend, but upset people. I don't think Deonna Purrazzo is a hardcore wrestler. She looked out of place in that match. It was the right choice for the main event, and I said that on the podcast 2 weeks ago, that they should go on last, and I'm glad they did. And the match was good, but I was disappointed with it. I didn't think it was as good as the Bound for Glory match, honestly. And I hope they're able to come back when, obviously Deonna's the Ring of Honor Women's Champion now, and also still the Reina de Reyes champion. And I'm sure Mickie will keep the knockout title for a little longer. If they can do a winner take all there, where Deonna can take the belt back, either in a ladder match or a cage match. I need the blow off to that feud. I don't want the feud to end with that match, because, as I said, I was disappointed with it. I think Mickie was outstanding in it. I was disappointed with Deonna's performance.
That's a fair shout. And Jeff said pretty much the same thing on the pre-show. That since he saw Deonna as that I'm a Belle on IPWF, couldn't quite get invested in badass Deonna. The virtuoso, like, he was just coming out to kick everyone's ass and wearing the jeans, and but I mean, yeah, I agree. It didn't feel right seeing Deonna being that type. She's a technical assassin. She's not a assassin.
Exactly.
So I can understand that. But with the feud continuing, I somewhere, this is just a fantasy booker in the back of my mind, but I'm kind of hoping for Deonna not to be in the Rumble, but to show up at the Rumble and pull Mickie James out of the ring.
Okay.
But I doubt WWE would let that happen.
No, I would love to see that, but I can't see it.
Yeah, and would Deonna even touch WWE again? I just want to, because like I said earlier, I don't know if WWE owe Impact anything. They technically do, because they are letting one of their wrestlers go to their show, so they should get something in return. It's one of the biggest shows as well, because I think without Mickie, they'd be struggling to fill 30 places.
Yeah, I think what WWE are giving Impact in return is publicity. Advertising her as the Knockouts world champion, the Impact Knockouts world champion. I don't think we need anything in return. It would be cool to see a returning face at some point, but I don't think Impact needs anything in return.
I get that. I mean, before we wrap up, like, just want to make a point. I was gonna say, what was I gonna say? Yeah, when Mickie James was announced for the Rumble, a lot of Impact fans were annoyed that WWE didn't tag Impact in the tweets. Now, I'm no genius, but if you mention someone in a tweet, you don't have to tag them because people have capabilities to search that person, or search that page. I think that was blown out of proportion that they didn't tag WWE. Impact didn't tag WWE didn't tag Impact. That's slightly blown out a bit. You know, as Impact fans, we've gone through a lot of shit, but now some positive stuff's happening. And I don't care if they tag Impact in the freaking tweets. The point is, people know that she's the Impact World Knockouts champion, and she's going to be in the Royal Rumble. So I think it's looking positive for Impact, and surely some big stuff's happening. If they're letting those wrestlers go out of contracts, I mean, the PCO thing, if we can put on great matches, I don't care. Bring them in. If they can go, bring them in. So it's looking good for Impact. I cannot wait for the next few weeks with the Bullet Club coming in and whoever else, because I believe most of the 30 days from NXT are up, if not all of them. Danny Burch, former Danny Burch, forget his name right now. He's looking for bookings again. Martin Stone, he's looking for bookings again. So it's only Lorcan's going to be on GCW. So is Lindsay Dorado. So many more. So it's only looking good, and wrestling is going to get good.
Mm-hmm. I'll just say quickly about Martin Stone. I did a car trip with him in 2014, 15, somewhere around there. What a great dude. And he can, ever since he went back over to the States and he started, teaming with Oney Lorcan, Biff Busick, that guy can go, man. He's so good, and he can talk. What a great promo. I don't know if you watched TNA British Boot Camp, but that promo he cut with Samoa Joe, phenomenal.
Great stuff.
He was NXT Tag Team Champion. Great stuff. Had some great matches, great run with Pat McAfee's little faction.
Yes.
I do feel he was underutilized there, but he can make far more of an impact elsewhere.
Yeah, and he did compete in Gut Check along with Mika, the former Tangaloa, and Eli Drake.
Yeah,
the same Gut Check. So it's more than possible he could potentially show up an impact, but who knows? I'm excited for what's coming. Impact is on fire right now, and it's about time that they start getting the real pushes and people finding out just exactly that they're not the same company anymore. They're completely different to TNA. This is Impact Wrestling, and they are killing it right now.
Exactly. It's about time Impact were recognized as the fantastic pro wrestling show that it is.
Right. It's on fire, and I cannot wait. And with that, I've been the MIC. He's been Nixon, and will continue to be Nixon. Join us next week for more talking bloody nonsense. Until next time, goodbye, my friends.